Hi, everybody. Sorry I can't be with you in person today or in live mode, but this is the option that I have. So, hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend and is ready for fall because it's officially fall, I guess, or summer's officially over. So, I'm here today because George and President Raff had asked me to speak and give an update on where Albany Mosaic Rotary is, so where we are in the process. So in addition to that, decided I wanted to kind of give you a bigger picture of where Albany Mosaic kind of stemmed from a RI standpoint. So I'm going to kind of give you a background of Rotary Club models and companion clubs specifically, because that is what Albany Mosaic Rotary is going to be. So bear with me. Um, this is my first time doing a recorded for a presentation, so little odd, but anyways. So to start out, let's take a look at where Rotary Club models are, where they started, etc. Um, Rotary International, as we know, was founded in 1905, and there was a single club model. It was a group of business and professional leaders. They met weekly in person for fellowship and service. Rotary has always been focused on adapting to the needs of its members and its communities, our clubs and our districts. And our clubs and our districts are really what reflect that flexibility. So as we go through this, we're going to see where Rotary International is trying to help us with that flexibility to be able to build our clubs and strengthen our clubs. Um, so today's world, as we know, looks very different than it did in 1905. Initially, as I said, it was businessmen. They met weekly in person. And as some of our more seasoned members may remember, there was very specifically categories or classifications, we called them, so that you did not have too many of a single profession in a club. It wasn't a club of all lawyers or all doctors, etc. That was part of the initial design by Paul Harris to make sure that there was diversity in Rotary. Um, Also, you may remember that there used to be attendance records and that you were expected to attend every meeting. And if you didn't attend your regular club meeting, you could do a makeup at another club or something to that effect. And that was all information that was tracked and a process that we went through. But specifically after COVID, as we all know, Rotary looks very different. The world looks very different. We learned a lot of things from COVID, some good, some bad. Um, but certainly we learned about technology and that things can still work in a different manner. And today we have a world that people's work schedules are busier than they've ever been. Communities are much more diverse, and technology, this perfect example, has certainly changed how we connect. So Rotary had to adapt, and it did adapt. Instead of having one right way for there to be a club, Rotary recognizes that there are many models, all with the same mission of service above self, but many different models can work. So to kind of give you an overview of what Rotary International has or kind of, I guess, identifies as our models of clubs. We have our traditional club, which is the original model, weekly meetings in person and usually sharing a meal. We have passport clubs, which are flexible clubs where members can attend meetings anywhere in the world, which is a great option for frequent travelers. Um, Bear with me while I pull up a little guideline here. If you go to Rotary International and type into the search club types, it will actually give you a whole matrix of club types, formats, models. Um, you can actually see all that for yourself. So the Rotary International breaks down the club type as your Rotary Club, Rotaract, and satellite clubs. And we also have interact clubs. Um, we have different types of meeting formats now. We have in-person meetings, we have online meetings, we have hybrid meetings. Um, as far as our club models, we have the traditional, as I said, we have the Passport Club, which is the club that allows members to attend other clubs. Um, if they attend a specific number of home club meetings each year is typically how passport clubs are set out. It's a great option for people who travel a lot for work or pleasure. We have cause-based clubs, which is a club whose members are focused and very passionate about a specific cause or focus, and they are primarily a service-based club. Um, there are interest clubs, which um, may focus on a particular hobby. For example, you may have a club that is focused on um, animal shelters, and they do their service projects are focused on specifically on animal shelters. You also have e-clubs, which are meetings that are primarily online. CNY does have an e-club. 7190 had one of the first e-clubs around, and it is still existing. So there are members in the e-club from all over the world, and they meet virtually. And a lot of times, what they do is as individuals, do service with either other organizations or other Rotary clubs or independently. And then they bring that back together, share that within the club. There are corporate clubs, clubs who specifically are primarily focused with a given employer. So if you have a large employer, and they actually have clubs that meet as part of their corporate policy or mission. There are alumni clubs, which is a club which is mostly members or a majority of charter members that are former Rotary program participants, such as Rotaractors, or some of you may remember the group study exchange program. So they may be members of that, people who have participated in different Rotary programs over the years. So that's an alumni-based club. And service-based clubs are clubs that typically meet twice a month for service projects, and they meet occasionally for social events or fundraisers. Language-based clubs share a common language other than the primary language of their district. And international clubs are a club whose members are from different countries than the district where they reside. So if you have a community that has a large Middle Eastern community, perhaps, they may create an international club specifically for people from that um, from that country. And all of these are to say they're not exclusive clubs. With Rotary, we are not exclusive. Anyone is welcome to join any club, but it's a matter of what the primary focus or primary feel of the club is. So that's just kind of an overview of the many clubs that Rotary International formally recognizes. And basically, Rotary International has taken the position of, as long as your club follows the core values, service above self as their primary mission, um, make it work. Make a club that works for your community, for your circle of people, whatever. So a companion club is one of the other clubs that I didn't mention before because I wanted to focus on it. So a companion club is formed by a Rotary club as a way to expand its membership, increase diversity, and offer more points of entry into Rotary. What I mean by that is typically companion clubs are a little out of the box from your traditional Rotary club. A companion club is basically a satellite club, but it has no intention of ever becoming its own standalone independent club. The idea of a satellite club is kind of like an incubator club. It's a young club that is starting out. You don't have to have as many members for a traditional club. Satellite clubs, believe, require either 12 or 8 to start, um, whereas a traditional club requires 20. So the companion club is a version of the satellite club. The satellite club's intention is to start out, get their feet wet, learn, build, and then once they have their 20 members, they get their own charter and they are their own standalone club. A companion club is different than that in that companion club never intends to be its own standalone club. So, as with Albany Mosaic, it's very important to us when Lorenzo and I first started to talk with, I'll explain more of the team that we talked with, the creation club creation team. When we first started to speak with them, something that was very, very important to us was the legacy of Albany Rotary Club. Albany Rotary has been here for a long time. It is a standard, it's a foundational club. And we don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose that connection. And we don't want to take anything away from the legacy of Albany Rotary, which is why a companion club is the perfect match. Because as a companion club, we are creating a satellite club that is focused on impact. So it's much heavier focus on service, less on the meetings and the speakers and the traditions of the original model of Rotary, but it has the same focus. And the benefit is we can all work together. By making it a different type of club, a new wave, if you want to call it club, it becomes more attractive to different people. So the idea behind a companion club is it becomes more accessible because it's not necessarily a specific time. For example, time of day is one of the issues that is a big factor for a lot of companion clubs. So, and today here's a perfect example. Wednesdays at noon for me are extremely difficult, not only to be there in person, but even to be able to be a hybrid and log in. Wednesdays just happen to be my busiest day at work. So the idea of a companion club is it offers alternative time. It may offer an alternative day. It may simply not be a traditional meeting style. So it's a different format. How the companion club works is, again, this is a creative model. So these are basic guidelines, but the club can design the companion club to meet what the needs are. So companion club is officially connected to a sponsoring club, which is why we came and presented to the board and asked for support because you are our sponsoring Rotary Club. But the companion club, excuse me, the companion club has the flexibility, pardon me, to set their own meeting schedule. It could be weekly, it could be monthly, it could be hybrid, it could be project-based. The companion club organizes its own service focus. So it can be a specific topic. So it could be a veterans focus club, or it can just simply be service based, where there could be multiple different service projects, not necessarily all in the same focus, but service in general is the focus. Impact is the focus. And Albany Mosaic Rotary is looking to be an impact club for Albany and Albany downtown, Albany inner city. The other thing with service projects is, although they are organized independently, they can be done together. So if Albany Rotary is having a service project, Albany Mosaic is right there to help you. And if Albany Mosaic is organizing a service project, we invite Albany Rotary to come in help with. So we're separate, but we're still connected. Shared resources. The sponsoring club usually provides mentorship, administrative support, and it provides a pathway for leadership development. So obviously, Albany Mosaic is just starting up. We haven't had fundraisers. We don't have any financial backing, financial base at this point. So being able to bring members in and send them to RLI, or as PETS comes up, or excuse me, PELS comes up, things like that. That's where that pathway for leadership development. Having members of Albany Rotary be mentors for leadership and members coming into Albany Mosaic to help, number one, show the history of Rotary, show how we got here, and for members to experience that, and gain the knowledge of Rotary's history, how it was formed, how it's changed, but how it's also still service focused. So, kind of in short, what a companion club is, it allows new members to experience Rotary in a way that better fits new, younger, different lives, without necessarily the full weight of running a standalone club. Um, a companion club does not have to have all the officers that a traditional club has. They're only required to have a chairman, a vice chairman, and a secretary. Um, they can choose to have more officers. They can choose to have their own bylaws. Albany Mosaic has chosen to operate under Albany Rotary Clubs bylaws. And that was why we did a little bit of change in the bylaws to allow for that. So let's talk about why companion clubs and any alternative models of clubs is really important. Number one is accessibility. We all know that membership is in the United States is decreasing for Rotary. Um, Lives are different, family structures are different, business structures are different. So there are a lot of people who want to serve, but they can't commit to traditional meeting times. So this, as a companion club, provides an opportunity for accessibility. It also provides an opportunity for diversity, and Albany Mosaic very definitely has that as a focus. Companion clubs are a great way to reach younger members, BIPOC communities, LGBTQIA plus communities, local neighborhoods, different groups that may feel that Rotary wasn't for them. So it's an opportunity to show more people that if you have service as something that is important to you, then Rotary is the place for that, and that you belong there. You are welcome there and you belong there. The other big factor is growth. Instead of waiting until there are 20 or 25 people to start a brand new club, you can launch the companion club with as small as 8. Our goal is to have 12 to launch, but 8 is what's required by Rotary International. And companion clubs are innovative. They can try new approaches. They are service first clubs, social based clubs, or even hybrid online format clubs. So it allows you to kind of push the envelope of what is the traditional club without taking the traditional club and completely revamping it and potentially losing members who still love that traditional club. There's a lot of value in that traditional club. And there's a lot of good foundation in traditional clubs. So from a member standpoint, what are the benefits to members? The Companion Club, as I said, offers more flexible dates and meeting expectations. There are opportunities to serve along people with shared interests, more so than possibly a large traditional club. And there's a very clear entry point into Rotary without necessarily feeling overwhelmed. And you get the benefit of mentorship from an established Rotary club. And hopefully mentorship happens within every club, because that's how we bringing people in, sharing Rotary and mentoring them to learn more about Rotary is how we build and grow Rotary. But for younger professionals, especially, this model makes Rotary more accessible, potentially more affordable, and it makes it exciting because it's different. It's like I said, it's new wave. Um, I know for me personally, when I joined Rotary, I worked construction at the time, and I was very uncomfortable in Rotary because at that time, Rotary was very traditional. Everyone wore suits and professional wear to every event. Um, and whenever you see things, you'll see things advertised as business casual. Well, for me, business casual was jeans and work boots. But that was not acceptable in Rotary. So, this creates an opportunity to allow people to bring themselves to Rotary for who they are. They don't have to conform to a specific picture, as long as they are a person who is has the values and follows the mission of Rotary. So, why, as a legacy club, do you want to sponsor a companion club? You're an existing club. Why do you want to sponsor this other club? And one of the biggest fears is we're going to lose members. Well, that's the benefit of satellite and of companion clubs. Every member that joins a companion club becomes a member of Albany Rotary Club. Albany Rotary is the prime club. So it's a pipeline of new members. It's a potential pipeline of new leaders. It's an opportunity to try new ideas without completely restructuring the legacy club. And it has the potential to build a much stronger presence in the community. You are reaching different areas of the community and you're increasing the service capacity of the club. And from Rotary International standpoint, what they've seen with satellite clubs and some of the other models is in many cases, companion clubs actually revitalize the sponsoring club. It brings a new energy, it brings new partnerships, it brings in more visibility. And there are people that are going to be more interested in coming to Wednesday noon and hearing great speakers than maybe doing projects, strictly doing more of a project-based club. So the potential is there. It's more exposure, it's a broader reach for both clubs. Some examples of some current real world companion clubs. There was a Saturday morning club created as a companion for people who can't attend weekday lunches. A community-based club which is focused on a specific neighborhood in a city. A cause-based club that was built around young professionals who want to work in environmentally specific service projects. And a cultural club serving immigrants in a community who wanted Rotary to reflect their own traditional style, traditions and meeting styles. So each of these clubs is linked to a sponsoring club, but they're all thriving in their own identity. And they've created partnerships with the two clubs working together. So some of the success factors that lay into um, making a companion club successful. So a strong sponsorship, which I'm very happy to say I think we have that in Albany. The parent club has to be supportive and welcoming. And certainly when we presented it to the board, there were some questions, which are certainly valid, but the overall overwhelming feeling was that, yes, let's try this, let's do this. There's a clear purpose. The companion club should know why they exist, whether it's time, flexibility, community representation, or a shared cause. And clearly, Mosaic Albany is looking for the community representation and impact. Also, autonomy plus connection. So those are kind of opposites, so to speak. So a companion club has enough independence to feel unique, but it's still very connected to the parent club and Rotary International, the larger network. And leadership development, which is huge. As we know, we need that as clubs. We need that succession planning. We need people who are ready and willing to step in to the roles of leadership, and we need people to have the foundation of understanding and knowing Rotary to be strong leaders. So the companion clubs should help to grow future Rotary leaders as well. So now let's get into basically how we start a companion club. Where did Albany Mosaic come from? Um, so the first step is a conversation. Lorenzo and I had a couple of conversations, which really had echoed a couple of conversations I had had with some district leaders. And Lorenzo and I very much were in the same alignment as to what we were looking for as far as the interest and definition of the model. At that point, we didn't really know that a companion club is what we were looking for, but there is now a club creation team, North American Club Creation Team. It's a team of individuals with Rotary that are helping to build clubs, create clubs, and they work with groups all across North America in trying to build clubs. And they have been integral from the very beginning of this. So we have met with them numerous times. We had to define what we were looking for, and it was a fairly quick process because Lorenzo and I really had a strong agreement of what we were looking for. And the other factor for the creation team was that we were very, very clear that we wanted to remain connected to Albany Rotary, that legacy club and that connection was important. So it was fairly quick in the process. And basically, this creation team mentors us through the process, the different steps in creating, identifying your team, defining or identifying your club style, defining the club, marketing and recruiting for the club, which is the phase we're in now, and then actually the development of the club and the formalization of it, which that is a lot of paperwork, which the club creation team handles all that. So Lorenzo and Kayla and I, we don't have to do that. The club creation team handles all that. They actually have an app now that interested individuals' names and contact information goes right into the app. They get sent an application directly through the app, and all of that information goes to the club creation team, and they handle and process all of the paperwork of creating that initial charter membership and all of the paperwork that goes along with that. So that for us is a huge thing. So it really removes a lot of barriers to creating a new club. Um, so they've been really instrumental and very, very supportive in this. So hopefully that kind of gives you an overview of the many different clubs and styles and models and that type of thing. And the gist of this is Rotary International wants us to create clubs that work. And there is not a clear one size fits all. And Rotary International recognizes that and has now gone really out on a limb to say, be creative, make a model club that works for your group or your community. So that I think is a huge bonus as to where Rotary International is. So specifically about Albany Mosaic Rotary, we have 3 steps right now that we're doing as far as recruitment. So we later this week are going to be doing a video that's going to come out. It's just going to be a very brief, like 1-minute video introducing Mosaic Rotary. And we will send that to everybody in the club and ask that you share that out. You can share it by email, you can share it by text, to anybody that you think might have an interest in Rotary. Maybe it's people who have attended club and as prospective members and one thing or another just didn't fit, be it time or style, what have you. So, or it may be people who didn't have the schedule to work with a Wednesday noontime meeting. So I will ask that when we send that out, please share it out to, colleagues, friends, family, anyone who you think might have an interest or know of people who might have an interest in service that's a little bit different than the traditional model. After the video, we will be doing a Zoom meeting, and that Zoom meeting will be really an informational meeting to introduce what Rotary is, so people really understand what Rotary is as an organization, and step a little into Albany Mosaic Rotary. And it will actually give some challenge questions to folks attending, because we want to identify the needs. And as we should all know by now, through trainings, uh, the best way to learn about what is needed in a community is to go into that community. Rotarians have for a long time been good and positive in heart, but not always great in our delivery. Sometimes we go into a community and say, "Oh, let us do this for you," but that's not really what the community wants or needs. So that's something we're learning about ourselves, to humble ourselves a little and, you know, becoming involved in the communities that you serve and understand their needs from their perspectives. So we're going to be posing some questions to trigger conversation on that. And then the third step is going to be an in-person meeting, um, where we will get into those conversations. Um, because we really want to kick off Mosaic with service. We want to identify service needs, areas of need within our community, within Albany, and see what we can do to step off right on that step. So that is where we are at. And then once we have those three steps completed, we hope that we will have at least eight um, people interested in joining Rotary. Ideally 12, that's our target. And we hope to have applications in and paperwork completed by the end of October so that we can actually have a kickoff charter celebration, to officially start Albany Mosaic Rotary. Of course, which Albany Rotary will everyone will be invited and encouraged to participate in. So that is the down and dirty, lengthy, long-winded overview. So, I hope that gives everybody uh, you know, a good understanding of the models of Rotary and what specifically Albany Mosaic Rotary is looking to do. And if you have questions, please reach out to me, or to Lorenzo or to Kayla. We're all learning in this process as well. So, and the other thing I can tell you is that, the Albany Rotary is getting put on the map about this. Rotary International is watching and is impressed that Albany Rotary is taking these steps. So, that's a good thing. So that is it. Hopefully it wasn't too long-winded. I'm just looking at my time. It's about 30 minutes. So, feel free to shut this down if you need to. And I'm going to stop the recording. Talk to everybody soon.